The world of My Hero Academia has no shortage of people with quirks, superpowers that give abilities and traits that they would otherwise not have. A select few able individuals choose to use these abilities to maintain peace, doing so by stopping those that choose to disturb that peace. The thing is, the abilities of quirks are limited. Rarely is a quirk effective in every situation, and for that reason, heroes and wannabe heroes often turn to support items. These are items that when combined with a quirk, costume, and the right mind state, make a reputable hero. In this video series, we look to create support items for various My Hero Academia characters in an attempt to tackle their individual weaknesses and also build upon what their existing support items have already improved. All character art is done by yours truly and is intended to help better communicate my ideas to you. If there's a character you would like to see be upgraded in upcoming videos, be sure to leave that in the comments. In the first episode of this series, we tackled Uraraka's design, mostly upgrading her costume in a more close combat direction. This time, however, we'll be giving the natural combat machine, Bakugou Katsuki, an upgrade. Funny enough, their costumes were constructed by the same support item company, so it's only fitting we start off this young series with these two characters, the best ship in the series, back to back. When it comes to using quirks in combat, Bakugou Katsuki is likely the most talented student we've seen at UA, outside of the big three. His usage is very creative and his shortcomings are few. Bakugou's usage of the quirk Explosion is similar to that of All Might with One for All and Endeavor's Fire quirk. These quirks are very versatile, and how far the user can go with it really comes down to their creativity. For example, One for All being used to generate wind attacks, or Endeavor running up a wall by melting the sides of a building. Bakugou is on track to becoming this type of hero, and disregarding the mental side of things, he has very few weaknesses. The core weaknesses or shortcomings of Kacchan have to start with the physical strain of his explosions. When without his support arm braces and gauntlets, there's a cap on both the rate and force he can fire off his explosions. This problem is solved to an extent currently by his support items, but it's only a perfect solution if you disregard the fact that his grenade arm gauntlets that go along with the design are bulky and a setback for his otherwise fluid and precise movements. The second shortcoming or weakness tied to, again, his gauntlets is range. Bakugou's quirk is a close range ability, meaning he will always be at his best up close. Villains are endless, and heroes need to be ready for all possibilities that come with that reality. To be a hero, Bakugou needs to at the very least be able to entertain a villain who is a long-range target. His gauntlets are equipped with storage for his sweat that can be used to create a long-range blast, something we've seen used 2 times in the story so far. This weapon is insane, but at the risk of limiting his close-range potential, it isn't worth it. But before we get into the solutions for Bakugou, we'll first address a rather obvious final shortcoming. If Bakugou's bright explosions are Tokoyami's kryptonite, then in theory, Todoroki or an opponent with a similar quirk should be Bakugou's biggest fear in a fight. Bakugou's abilities rely on his sweat. Sweat is produced to cool the body down once a certain temperature is reached. If an opponent was able to stop Bakugou from sweating, he would essentially be quirkless. That would be an extremely dangerous situation that he'll have to look out for in the future and be prepared to face. With that said, let's see how we can address these shortcomings with support items. For starters, let's tackle the most standout issue. Bakugou's gauntlet storage tank system is just way too big. That's an object for opponents to easily latch onto or break. On top of the fact that his movement style is fast and precise, these gauntlets are almost as loud as his mouth. But for combat, they're not practical. I remember thinking they were pretty badass when I saw them in Season 1, but today I can't help but feel annoyed when I see them. To tackle this issue, I redesigned the gauntlets to instead be more sleek and practical, while keeping a grenade design in mind for inspiration. These gauntlets would keep the sweat storage feature of his previous gauntlets, and yeah, they would hold less sweat, but for the sake of not hindering his movements, it's a good trade-off, especially since the next change will also combat the issue of ammunition. For that, we'll introduce a heating system into his gauntlets and gloves, so that no matter the temperature of his environment or the rest of his body, his hands can always sweat. The temperature would be adjustable thanks to a digital system on the underside of the left arm, allowing him to dial it up or down depending on the situation, basically creating unlimited ammo no matter what. When underwater or overexposed to cold, he sweats less, but with these, Bakugou will always have sweaty palms, mom spaghetti. The final shortcoming we'll address is his range. At first, I thought to implement a similar pull system to his current gauntlets as a way of using the sweat that's been stored, but honestly, with the improvements he's made in controlling his explosions, he probably won't need it. His armor pierced shot and shotgun blasts are an example of control, showed in the hero license exam, which he failed. This newfound control could later create explosions similar to that of his current support items, which I'm all for, so instead we'll be directing the sweat stored in his gauntlets directly to his palms, which he can then use for precise ranged explosions. Long distance could also be tackled by his speed and agility. He's already able to use his explosions as a means of flight, and his speed has been shown to be excellent during the physical exam. All things considered, range probably won't be an issue for Bakugou in the future. With these changes, Bakugou would become an even better version of his already great self, and I for one am excited to see what his future will bring. I hope you enjoyed the video. In the comments, let me know what you think about these changes, and if there's anything else you would add, be sure to leave that too. And don't forget to let us know who you want a video on next. Until next time, I am Young Kami J. Have a great day. Goodbye.